strong legs, no standing required. 5 seated exercises for ultimate strength. We are going to go over 5 exercises that you can do in the privacy of your own home. Because you're seated, you could potentially do these at work from your chair. This allows you to gain the strength you need in those legs to stabilize the knees, stabilize the hips, stabilize the ankles, and have the ultimate strength that you're after to do all those activities. Let's start with number 1. I'm going to turn to the side to make it a little bit easier to look. We'll talk about the muscle involved, how to count, how to hold, how to breathe. This first one is called the seated march. We're keeping our hips forward, our shoulders in line with our hips, and our knees are approximately shoulder distance apart. You start by activating the hip flexors, raising that knee up while holding in the abs. And at that point, once we start to raise from here, the quads activate. You can then take the hamstrings and push it back down in kind of a slow eccentric. If you're just doing something like this, that's momentum taking care of it, not the muscles. So let's try that again. We're activating the hip flexors, then the quads, now the hamstrings, and alternating. Hip flexors, quads, and now hamstrings. So when you do these nice, slow release on the down, that's called an eccentric, and that allows you actually to work those other muscles. So this is the most easiest if you're just starting out. You'll probably want to do 10 on each leg. I like alternating. Let's make this a little bit harder. You can now add in your own upper body strength to help with this. So you can do something like just place a couple fingers on top of your knee. You can resist as you activate. Bring these 2 fingers underneath and resist as you come down. I'm holding my core in super tight. I'm sitting with my shoulders back, the shoulder blades coming together. So I'll do it again. 2 fingers up, hold, 2, 3, 4, and 2 fingers down. 2, 3, 4. So it's probably a 5 count. Let's try that again. So up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release 2 fingers. Down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposite. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, 2, 3, 4, 5. A more advanced one even beyond that is taking something like a resistance band. You can have the kind that are flat ribbon-like, or you can have the tubes. And to increase the resistance here, you can put this around your foot. I like to cross here and choke up a little bit here. And it would be an activation where I'm pulling now with my arms. I'm going to make sure that my shoulders are back, my abs are tucked in, and I'm going up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm resisting coming down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? I'll keep all of them on this side. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd repeat on the opposite side. So that's seated march from no weights to just using your upper body weights for the downs and the ups, or adding resistance to them. The next is called a seated extension and flexion. We are not going to try to activate the hip flexors. We're trying to keep it pure quads and pure hamstrings. So with this, again, I'll turn to the side to make it easier in a second. But for now, you can see that I am seated. My hips and knees and ankles are in alignment. It's kind of like I am a chair myself. So you can put your hands off to the side, or you can put them on the outside resting on your quads. You're just going to activate the quads to lift up, extend at the knee, hold this. You're going to want to really see these muscles here starting to tighten. And then as you are done and you're coming back, let's actually add in the hands and you flex. Okay, so it's not just the quad. So here it's again, little tiny up, extending at the knee, holding. This is the hold portion. This is where we're trying to build these quads. And now we're going to flex at the knee and come all the way back. I have a chair leg in the way, so I'll switch to this side. Here we go. So it's up. I've not raised up here. I've kept it in this alignment. So extension at the knee, toes towards the sky, and now flexion at the knee, hamstrings. You see I can curl all the way back to neutral. So tiny, little up, holding it, keeping those quads tight, and curling all the way back and turning it into a flexion. So that's the hamstrings that are doing that, and down. That's the easy part. If you want to take it up a notch, then you can add your own resistance in. So similarly, we can just use our own hands, our own upper body strength. Make sure that you are in good alignment, your core is tight. So how would I resist this? Well, I could do a little pressing on the quads at this portion and holding it here. Holding. So I'm kind of pressing down to make myself have to activate those quads and hold it up, but not here at the hip flexor. It's extended here. And then on the down, I can fight that coming back too by pressing up on those hams and making it a little bit harder. So let's try it on the opposite side. So a little pressure going up, trying to resist that, holding at the top so I can breathe, and then you can press up on this to prevent it from coming back down. The resistance band, which is the advanced, so we've done beginning, intermediate, and advanced. You can go up as much as you need to on this, but have it so, again, that your arms, shoulders are back, abs are tight, shoulder blades are touching, and you extend, and I'm keeping my toes towards the sky, and now you flex. You have to be careful that your knee isn't wobbling all over the place with this. Nice controlled movements here. Nice controlled movements all the way through. Otherwise, say if you're just doing something like this, your knee wants to go off to the side or off to the side. So trying again to keep everything in alignment where that ankle is in alignment with the knee, is in alignment with the hip. So nice controlled movements. These, you're actually getting a lot of work here as you come back through on that hamstring. So here I'm putting my toe to the sky, and now I've flexed the ankle so that now my heel's coming down like it's going to drive through the ground and dig some dirt as it comes back. The third is called seated extension, but we're going to work on the vastus medialis. So many times people have knee pain on that inside of their knee, and when we looked at their x-rays, they have more damage on the medial aspect or inside aspect of their knees. So they do more wear and tear on that, and then they may even have only one compartment worth of arthritis. So we want to strengthen that vastus medialis. So the quad muscles here, we have the medialis and we have the lateralis. So when you see those soccer players and they flex and they see that kind of big horseshoe right in this area, this is the vastus medialis, and this is what is most likely to be wasted. So let's try to work on the vastus medialis. And I'll show you on this leg from here. So we're going to do similar to what we did before. We're going to raise the leg up just a tiny bit, but not here for a hip flexor, just a tiny bit off the ground. We're going to extend and rotate out a little bit. This leg is the one that is now not knee straight up towards the ceiling, but rather a little bit out here. Okay. I'm again engaging my core, making sure that I've got good control, and then you come back down to neutral. So I do the same thing over here. Now I rotate out. So it's a rotate out this way. Put this portion, the medial aspect of your knee, not 100% towards the sky, but more like a 45-degree angle towards the sky, and contract that vastus medialis and gently come back to neutral. So watch. Up, rotate, hold in your extension, come back to neutral, and come down. Up, rotate, hold, breathing, watching your core, watching your shoulders, rotate back and down. Similarly, we're going to add in the intermediate. Intermediate is using your own upper body strength to kind of resist that a little bit. So you can relax until we get there. So we're coming up, rotating out, we're holding. Now we're going to apply a little downward pressure with just a couple fingers to make sure that that quad is activated. And if it starts shaking, then that means it's getting tired. Come back down to neutral. That's intermediate. We want to take it to advanced. Again, the band, either the bands around your ankles or this, and you make tight. So we're into this position here, watching your back. Take it up, rotate it, and now I'm actually pulling back on this to make sure that this vastus medialis of the quadriceps is tight, and I'm applying some resistance here. Okay, so back to neutral. So that's advanced. Number 4 is seated abduction and adduction. So abduction, taking away, like you're abducted, or adduction, bring me back in. So I'll show you the starting position from here with a straight on. Again, I'm seated on the edge of the chair. I've got my knees in alignment with my ankles and with my hips. I'm not splayed out. I'm not turned in. One isn't in front of the other. They're both equal. Also in line with my shoulders. We are going to bring the knees out, abduction. And it's not a big, huge movement here. We're actually trying to activate these muscles here and let them abduct, take them away. And then these muscles are going to bring it in, bring it back. Adduct, abduct, adduct. Intermediate, adding a little bit of our fingers. So you can take here on the outsides, again, sitting up straight, shoulders back, and do a little bit of eccentric contraction here, isometrics, where I am holding against and just holding and breathing. I can relax. Now I'll move it to here. I'm resisting, bringing my knees together. So that's intermediate. Advanced, you would have this. It can be completely across your ankles. If you have the band, you can bring it all the way up to your knees. So I can show you that one. We'll bring it up a little bit. You have to be really careful that you're not taking it too much. I'm going to go ahead and fold it this way. So a little bit of abduction. See, it's not a big movement. I'm not a total butterfly with my legs. I'm bringing it in. And this is more of a contraction. It's harder on the taking it out. You want to hold and breathe and then bring it in. So that's beginning, intermediate, and advanced for seated AB and adduction. Our next one is going to be the seated toe raise. Number 5 of 5. You're almost there. Keep it up. So the toe raise, we're going to want to talk about, this is your driving leg. It's the extension of bringing this out from neutral, about here-ish, and we're going to point our toes to the ground. We're going to bring the toes to the sky. As we point our toes to the ground, we're activating here on the front of the leg, the shin muscles. As we're bringing it back towards us, we can fight that with some resistance. So we're wanting to make sure that our calves and our shins are doing their job. So here is shins, here is calves contracting. So this is the simple, and you can just do it one leg at a time. Otherwise, it's kind of hard. You can potentially get out of whack. If you get really coordinated, you could certainly do both, but slow it down a notch. So here's toes down, here's toes up. This is just one leg doing it, toes down, toes up. So intermediate, we're going to add in our own little bit of resistance here. So a little bit harder. You could take this foot and you could just do a little bit of isometrics here. I'm bringing this bottom leg, toes to the sky, this top leg, toes down. So you can use your own body here rather than reaching. A lot of people have some back pain or it throws them out of alignment here. So I'm just using a little bit of resistance here. My heel is a little bit on my toe. It's a little bit resisting this coming up. Now it's a little bit resisting this going down. A little bit resisting, coming up. A little bit resisting, coming down. The advanced, or it may even be easier than intermediate in terms of logistics, would be having the band around the bottom of the foot, around the arch. And as much as you need to choke up or go to a stronger one, and then bring those shoulders back, bring those abs in. I'm pointing towards the ground. I'm pointing towards the sky. Pointing towards the ground, pointing towards the sky. So that's beginner, intermediate, and advanced on the seated toe raise. So we've now done seated march, seated extension and flexion, seated advanced extension, so we get that vastus medialis, seated AB and adduction, and seated toe raise. All this to strengthen those legs so you can stabilize the knees, reduce your knee pain, reduce your hip pain, reduce your ankle pain, because we want strong muscles. We don't want to be a statistic where when you age, you decrease muscle mass. Well, it's one of those use or lose. And these are things that you can do wherever. Technically, you could do this while you're on vacation because you can always find a chair to sit in. You don't even have to travel with a band, although if you could get a tight little ribbon type one, even taking one of those, you could use that for upper and lower. So this is something you can do anywhere. Just make sure that you have the ability, for example, for the extension and flexion one, that you can bring in leg all the way underneath the table, so it's not a bench that's got a board right here, because you do want that full range of motion here. This is going to allow you to have the power of doing these leg strengthening exercises on your terms whenever you want to. If you'd like to learn more about knee pain, please like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, please type them below. I'll answer them, and it could be a potential topic for our next video. Thank you.
If you have knee pain and would like to learn more, I have a worksheet called 5 Things to Do Now to Reduce Your Knee Pain Within a Week. Go to www.kneeboostnow.com to download it for free. I'd love to hear from you, so please like, subscribe, and comment below so I can help you get out of your knee pain.